What's up, guys? Just gonna do a quick video today. I haven't put out a video in a little while. I've just been preoccupied with getting my car wrapped up. I've got the Blitz supercharger on there. I still have some wiring in the engine bay to figure out how I want to route it, but most of the interior is back together, and I've got the clutch bled. But one thing I added to the AE86 here to try and tidy up the engine bay and make things just look a little bit better is that right there. A brake booster delete. So these are available from a couple of different companies. This one I bought from TPR. It's a little bit cheaper than some of the other ones out there. It's really easy to install. So pretty much what you need to do is you bolt your master cylinder to the booster delete first. It came with hardware to do that, a bolt nut, and it's a recessed Allen bolt like this on the back side. That way it sits flush. So once you do that, then you get a buddy to help you bolt it into the car, because you've got 4 bolts instead of them being studs like they are on the booster, which I have sitting over here somewhere. Yeah, okay. The back side of this, these are actual studs, so it's really easy to install. But when you're doing a booster delete, they're bolts, so you got to get a buddy to help you bolt it in. And then the other thing that you got to take, at least from this kit, is you take the clevis and lock nut off of the stock booster, because you're going to use it. So, let me grab a flashlight. Okay. So, depending on your booster delete, it's going to position the push rod for the brake master cylinder differently, which can cause some binding issues. So, let's see if I can show it up in there. Okay. So see the push rod there? That's that guy right there. Bloop, bloop. So, depending on the booster delete, it may position the master in a way that binds, because just the angle that it sits at. So, this one positions it actually pretty nicely for the stock hole, although, so some of them you actually have to re-drill the hole for the pin that holds the clevis to the brake pedal. Now, this one didn't come with a push rod. Some of them do come with a push rod, so one sec, let me pull it out so you can see what I had to do. It's really easy to pull this apart. Not so easy going back together, but okay. So what I did is I took a bolt that was the right thread pitch, put the clevis and lock nut on it, and then I measured from the inside of the master cylinder, where this end sits at, all the way to the brake pedal, and where this guy bolts to, and took the combined length of the rod and the clevis, and then cut it down to the right size. So let me grab my handy dandy tape measure. So I'm walking through the mess in my garage. I didn't actually measure it to figure out what the actual length is. I just kind of eyeballed it. But let's see. It is about 5 1/16 inch. I had to make it shorter, so you could do 5 inches, and that would probably be perfect for that TPR booster delete. And the other thing you have to do is you need to round down the end that sits in the booster, because otherwise it'll bind and it won't sit in there properly. So you round it down, because it's actually kind of rounded in there anyway, and that way it sits in there and it'll pivot just fine as you put it in there. Now, another thing, knocking stuff over. Another thing that people end up having to do is they actually re-drill the spot for the clevis to mount on the brake pedal to get better leverage on it. So depending on your master cylinder size, you might have to do that so that way the pedal isn't as hard to push, and so that way it's actually more effective. Anyway, that's how you install a brake booster delete. Really straightforward. Oh, and I guess I should talk about the benefits because that's probably important. I deleted the booster mainly because I wanted to clean up the engine bay. To go to the brake booster, I didn't have the stock vacuum line anymore from the 4AG or the 4AC, so it just kind of looked really crappy. Like I had this little bit and I have the check valve, but this here was just all, I don't know, I didn't like it. I had an inline vacuum block as well, which I'm deleting with this. I'm deleting with this because I'm rerouting some stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to clean up the engine bay. But what other people like to do, or the reason why they like to do a booster delete, is because it gives you a firmer, more stable or progressive pedal, a little bit more, I don't know, predictable. That's why some people like it. For me, it was just to clean up the engine bay. But yeah, if you've got a booster that's kind of faulty or whatever, you're doing a lot of left foot braking, sometimes the booster can make left foot braking feel weird. So that's one of the advantages to doing a booster delete is better pedal feel depending on your preference. And that way you don't get, kind of weird pedal feedback from the booster when you're left foot braking. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.